Hi.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
Happy Wednesday.
Happy hump day. Woohoo!
Okay, so last week, if you joined us, we talked about how you can gain Instagram followers. Well, now it's like you need to go back and watch it because more than ever, this is necessary to gain followers because Instagram is testing getting rid of likes.
So before we get started, let's introduce ourselves because we might have some new people in the group. So my name is Leah.
Michaela.
And we are the creative storyteller and visual storyteller here at Digital Edge. So
Local.
yes.
Talk to us anytime you want. We love talking.
Yes. And hey everyone.
Hey everyone for watching.
Thanks for watching. We are so curious to know what you all think about this. If you've seen this in the news and what your take is on it. So please, jump into the conversation, leave us some comments, and we'll answer or read out your comment as we're talking. But
so on the 17th, this month, July 17th, Instagram posted to their Twitter, "We're currently running a test that hides the total number of likes and video views for some people in the following countries." And then list off Australia, Brazil, Canada, Ireland, Italy, Japan, and New Zealand. US, we're in the clear for right now.
We know it's coming.
Yeah. So they then tweeted in the comments, "We want your friends to focus on the photos and videos you share, not how many likes they get. You can still see your own likes by tapping on the list of people who've liked it, but your friends will not be able to see how many likes your post has received. We're looking forward to learning more about how this change might benefit everyone's experience on Instagram."
So I initially thought it was great, but we have some we'll read through some of the responses people have, and then we would love for you all to give us your responses as well.
So some people are joking about influencers going jobless. Well, I think if you're just relying on those numbers, you need to up your game as an influencer, first of all.
Yeah, so do we have any influencers in the group? What do you all think?
It's time to up your game. It seems like most people, they don't like it because they're just worried about losing followers.
Not being able to have that influence, not being able to basically use that mob behavior or that group behavior to push their sales or to push whatever it is that they're trying to, especially if they're in some kind of business or in something where they need the public to respond in order for them to receive something.
On Twitter, @RiotSoph commented, "I don't necessarily think taking away likes is a bad idea if the individual can still get notifications for each like they get, so they still know their content is being seen and appreciated, but people would be getting more likes without this algorithm you introduced."
But I think that's even an interesting point, that people still know their content is being seen and appreciated. So you've got kind of like two different ways of thinking about this. Of course, here in this group, we're always thinking about this as marketing and how we can use these different things to help push our business goals. But even on the personal level of how people just feel like now how our whole culture is, and everybody is very outward based in terms of getting their approval, might this be a good thing to help discourage that, which I think is probably Instagram's point. It's probably a big part of why they're doing this.
Yeah, on their feed, not too many people are liking this change. They're not saying where they're from, if it's actually affecting them yet. It might just be ahead of its time.
So Billie Jean says, "I think Instagram will ultimately keep it visible. It would drive those who utilize it as a fan page, influencer page, whatever, to move to other platforms, taking their fan base with them." That's an interesting point, Billie Jean. Yeah, I mean, that's a very true thing. I wonder how it's going to, how it's going to play out in these other countries. And then even if it plays out in a certain way in these other countries, how it will play out here in the U.S. I do believe that, especially here in the U.S., that it might very well drive these influencers to other platforms. But kind of to the point that you were speaking about yesterday, Billie Jean, in our other comment about how the younger crowd tends to be like the leader of what the next generation or the generation right before that is going to do. So could we see something like TikTok, for instance? Like if this happens with Instagram, could TikTok like take the place of what Instagram does, for instance, because of something like this? I mean, I think that's an interesting thought. Or could another platform come in and kind of serve the same purpose, but, you know, fulfill that need for the base? I think that's really interesting. I'm wondering what you think.
Yeah, Instagram has still not said how long this testing's gonna last, but I hope we find out very soon. It's already been close to 10 days. But so we're gonna go to a lot of the negative feedback from some influencers. I think I found mostly Australians who are upset about this. So influencer Michaela Testa, she went viral for posting a video, and she was crying, ranting about how this is not going to be good. This affects her job. Other influencers saying now they have to work 8-hour days versus less than 8 hours they were working, I guess.
I hope that's not true. Yeah. I hope that's tongue in cheek, but.
There was, I had one quote. Okay, Tammy Hembrough. She is from Melbourne.
Thanks, Billy.
Melbourne. She has 10 million followers. And somebody asked her in an article what she would do if they continue taking away her likes. And she quoted, "Then we'll delete Instagram from our lives. F Instagram."
Kind of like you said, Billie Jean, like that people will just like take their followers elsewhere. And it also makes me think about, because I feel like this same thing happened, not the same thing, but where influencers were kind of taking their people and trying to move them to other platforms. Like it kind of tried to happen with IGTV. Excuse me. The way that my life works, I'm gonna start coughing in a minute, but hopefully I won't. But you know, people tried to take their followers to IGTV, but for some people it worked, for some people it didn't. Same thing with Periscope. People tried to take their followers over to Periscope, or from Periscope to other platforms, and kind of like it sort of worked, but then not really. I think I just recently, there's another one I'm thinking about.
I totally forgot Periscope.
Yeah, we've like forgotten that Periscope was a thing at some point. Oh, I know what I'm thinking about. Okay, so it's the Facebook groups versus other outside networks that are like Facebook, but different, like Mighty Networks. I'm sure some of you have heard of Mighty Networks, and there are a lot of people that are trying to take their fan base from like Facebook, because Facebook, you know, as we have all the algorithms and you've got to pay to play on Facebook, and so they're trying to take it outside of Facebook to things like Mighty Networks. Mighty Networks has been in existence for quite a few years, but only in the recent year have I seen it get some traction. So I wonder if that same kind of thing will happen. And there's another one that's like Mighty Network, kind of like Periscope. Oh my gosh, somebody, I don't think it's very popular right now. Yeah, but there's another one that was like that, where people were trying to take their fan bases there. And so I wonder how successful that would be if that happened. And I would love you all's input, even just as business owners, because of course, you know, our things are about like pushing our businesses forward. Like, if you are very active on a platform right now, would you actually do that? Like, if they took the likes away, would you want to take your people and try to move them to a new platform? What would that be worth the trouble? And again, I think it also goes back to our conversation yesterday in the feeds about where your customers are. You know, like if your customers are already on these other platforms, you might already be thinking about interacting with influencers that either have a broad base of platforms, or either they're already active in these other places. So it's really, I think it's just really interesting, and it just kind of goes back to that idea, or that understanding that you really, really, you know, you have to keep doing the work to understand your customer base, so that you can then figure out where your customers are and then go where they are.
Yeah, I think we've said it in every video, test your content.
Yeah. So now might be a great time to test content someplace other than Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah. So back to the influencers. Zach Hasleby, he was quoted, I think it'll be really hard to start being an influencer.
And he says you won't have any backbone to show you have heaps of likes, and businesses won't be able to see the likes.
So we were reading that you'll still be, like as an influencer, you'll still be able to show the reports to who's paying you to influence. So I don't think that will affect. I really just think it comes back to you have to come up with something new, a new way to do things. If you were just relying on the fear of missing out, like we talked about, people liking this post, so I have to like this post. If that's the only way you're getting those followers and fans to keep coming back to you, then you need to find a new way to market yourself and market the products that you're advertising.
Yeah.
So this pros and cons, hiding the likes, it'll get rid of super likes, and that's buying likes. You know, you can use all these different sorts of apps for Instagram to buy likes. They'll send out bots. Some say they have like real people, but
they're still just going through and like hitting like.
I don't think it's real
like.
people. So a big con for that, if you have been using like paid likes, is one, I feel like you might have already wasted your money, especially if you haven't seen any outcome of paying for those likes. Like some people like thousands of dollars a year have been paying thousands of dollars a year, because once you buy into it, you have to buy in for every single post. And so I feel like it would just be a huge waste of money for people who have been counting on these super likes for your posts.
Yeah, to get that exposure. Mm-hmm. And I think one thing it also kind of really brings home, we were talking about micro-influencers a couple of weeks ago, and a post is coming up on our Facebook, it is on our website. It will be posted in the group and to the Facebook page really soon. It's about micro-influencers, and I think it really just drives home, again, that your content is what's really important, and working with people that are actually related to your brand in some kind of like intimate way, because that is, so it's not that it's going to be a bazillion likes that's going to drive behavior. It's going to be the sincerity and the authenticity of what someone is saying about your product, or what you are even putting out there about your product. And I know, Billie Jean, you just had a comment, and we want to make sure we don't miss it.
Oh,
Can we read it? Okay. It's a like versus engagement debate also. It depends on the platform, the content, and the media. Engagement outside of likes is still the most important. Exactly. So people will have to work harder to generate that engagement, and it will, in theory, be more useful than a like anyway. Exactly.
Yep.
Also, we will see more platforms show us views, as we see already in some circumstances. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a very good point. That they'll still find a way to show us how popular that content is on the platform. And we were talking about that earlier too, like how would they do that? Because there is still, I mean, you know, human nature just is human nature. We still are driven by that, like, kind of group behavior, you know, it's the FOMO behavior.
FOMO,
you know?
that's real.
Exactly. So did you have some, I think there were a few more points, or did we get them all?
I did notice most people who are saying they're against this because they never asked for it, won. All they wanted was Instagram to bring back chronological order, which I think everyone can agree that they missed the chronological order of the Instagram feed. I think we covered it all, but we always find more to talk about if you guys ask us questions. If you have even like specific ones for you, like we want to know, one, I would like to know if anybody in the group is using super likes, because I've always been a skeptic about it. I mean, probably because I've never had the money to buy super likes.
And I think super likes, it's it's that same thing. Someone just posted in another group, and I'll post it over here, about the bro marketing, you know, like, and how bro marketing is kind of, it's appealing to FOMO, it's appealing to to our lizard reptilian brain, which in marketing you do need to do that, but I feel like there's a fine line, and there's a line for everyone. Everyone has their own line, but there's a line to cross and not to cross in terms of like how you're going to make that appeal. And Billie Jean says,
also, it will benefit those who take the time and effort to produce good content or hire folks to help them. We were saying job security for
all social media managers out there.
Yeah, job security. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't get the influencers. Digital marketing managers.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I don't really get the influencers who are saying this is going to be bad. And that's just like, man, you're not doing your job right in the first place if you're worried about this.
Yeah, really.
You're saying like this is your real job. Don't lose it over like a choice you have. Well, no, you don't have a choice then. That's the thing.
Yeah, and it should be about the quality of the content anyway, because that is what's reaching people. And if you had any takeaway from our long ramble about this that we hope has been helpful for you, is that actually, I feel like for the smaller business, like us being small businesses, it really is a great thing for us because it's bringing back the focus on quality content. And I think, you just said that, Billie Jean. So it's bringing that back around. It's like, it doesn't matter if you have a bazillion followers. If you have 2,000 followers that love your content, that are engaging in like comments with you, that's what matters. If they're responding to you, like not just with a quick little like, but like with true interaction, that's what you want. And this gives us the opportunity to stand out just as much as the 20K person that has a bunch of super likes, that's been bought a bunch of super likes. So
I think it's the people who have just like thousands versus like hundreds of thousands of followers who are like, this is a great thing. Because like what Instagram said is their point, more of like an equality level of your post, like sharing the love, not just a huge popularity contest.
Exactly. Well, I think did we cover everything we wanted to?
Mm-hmm.
Like we did. Thank you all so much for checking in, even if you're watching this on the replay. If you like the content that we're sharing here, please invite your friends to the group, because our first and primary goal for this is to help all of us grow our businesses and share. And that's why we ask so many questions. That's why we try to keep a post going every something every day. So definitely let us know what kinds of things that you guys are curious about, because we have the time to research it. If we don't already know, trust and believe, we will research it and figure out the information for you. So help us help you. And I guess that's our bottom line.
Thank you for watching, and if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're not, hey, Billie Jean, subscribe to our channel. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, and thanks, Billie Jean.
Thanks everybody for watching.